Usually you need a business requirement, it go to the technical team, and then they maybe communicate with the no-code platform or the developers, and it's like taking too much time and a lot of like ego in between. No one in the industry really adopt it, like in enterprises, they don't really use like autonomous agent because they kind of afraid, hey, it can kill my data. It can even sell my data like for like a couple of Bitcoins. Who know what it will do? During the demos, we're building the process that they wanted. Instead of like 40, 50, 100 hours, they can do it in like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes they're like some scenario, it will be like longer, like maybe a few hours, which is fine, instead of a few weeks.
If you can make the decisions fast, test fast, break things fast, and then try something else if it doesn't work, it makes the decisions much easier.
I'm not afraid of failing. For me, failing is like part of the process, and I will not give up until it's like good or I'm dead.
Whichever happens first.
I worked my ass for the last like 30 years, like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm not sure I want to do it again. And then I started, and then after a month, I said, I want to do it again. This is who I am.
I strongly believe in our core team that we can build something together. It doesn't really matter where this journey takes us, because as long as we are building together, trying things, failing, trying more things, winning, that's the process. If you believe in yourself and in your team, you will win at the end.
Welcome to NOCA.AI podcast, and I'm here with two special guests, founders of NOCA.AI. And I'm here with Avishai and Benny. Hello, both of you. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Very well, thank you.
Doing good.
Yeah. And our audience will be very excited to know about NOCA.AI. And it's best that we could go and start with probably the history, and also maybe you can share with us what is NOCA.AI, maybe in a 10-year-old level.
Ben, you want to take it?
Basically, it's my level, so it's easy to explain. I feel like I'm 10. But basically, NOCA.AI is trying to reduce the gap. I'll explain. Previous like version of my life, like I built like a no-code platform. So instead of like writing code to build like a website or web page or like integration, I did it like with no code, like drag and drop. I think now with LLM, there is a disruption in the industry. So we're trying with LLM understand like the user requirement. We're trying to communicate with business owners, not just like with technical people. This is also like another gap in the industry. Usually you need a business requirement, it go to the technical team, and then they maybe communicate with the no-code platform or the developers, and it's like taking too much time and a lot of like ego in between. So we're trying to basically say, hey, you're like the business owner, you have a problem, type like in the prompt, what do you need us to do? And we will try to do it. It can be a lot of things like automation, integration, web applications, etc., like with UI, without UI. We're trying to conquer like this like space, and to be honest, like to be focused on enterprises. So this is like what we do for the last 30 years. I'm old. This is what I'm doing. We understand like enterprises, security, policies, integration, limits, and we're trying to combine all this like past knowledge into this new NOCA. And Avishai can take it from here if you want.
Yeah, so the way I see Noka is like a personal AI assistant. You know the world of vibe coding where you just type in a prompt and you get a ready-made application. So think of that as like vibe integration. I want integration between my ERP and my CRM. I type in every time a customer is created in Salesforce, go to NetSuite, see if the customer is already created, if not created, if it is, send me a Slack message and Noka will do the rest. So you just type in English what you want the integration and automation to do and you get it ready.
Wow. You sounded even a 10-year-old kid could actually just press a button.
Yeah. If he knows how to write in English.
Yeah, because the UI is very simple. You have
Mhm.
like a prompt. Even a 10 or like someone old like me, like 50, can also like do it. So basically, we're aiming like for the young and for the old people. Basically.
Beautiful. That's awesome. That's awesome. And now that we kind of have a great picture about Noka, maybe you could, whoever who wants to jump in, like how did you found Noka in the first place? How was it born? And every company starts with a problem to solve, and I don't know if that's the case with you. So what was the problem that was the thing that you solved at the beginning? Maybe we can
Okay,
start from there.
I can take it. Basically, I finished like my previous journey with Titan, the company I built, and I kind of trying to see what I'm going to do. And I took like few months like off like from like computers like at all, and I started like a farm. I become like a farmer. I built like a nice farm, and part of the building process was, for me, was like a pain because I'm very technical in terms of coding, but both my hands and legs are like left side, so I don't know how to connect nothing basically. So I had to learn how to connect a lot of pipes, connector, like reduce pressure, blah blah blah. And and then I said, well, why can't I use AI? Like I will show the AI like the parts of the connectors, the pipes, and it can help you like say, okay, take this, take this, take this. And then I said, well, what the hell? It's nice. And if I can do this like with pipes, why can't I do it with real integration? Because it's like the physical integration and like the logical integration. And then I was saying like, okay, let's experiment. We tried few things, and it was not so sexy, to be honest. It was nice, but it wasn't like as much as I felt like excited, because I like to be excited from what I'm doing. And the thing with the industry is like running so fast. Every day something else is happening. Literally, like on a daily basis, a new platform, a new protocol like MCP, A2A, etc., etc. You need to run fast. And as a marathon runner, I'm running fast, and I'm kind of like, I like this kind of disruption and fast pace. And then I understood like the agent world, like autonomous, can work, but no one in the industry really adopt it. Like in enterprises, they don't really use like autonomous agent, because they kind of afraid, hey, it can kill my data. It can even sell my data like for like a couple of bitcoins. Who know what it will do? And we're trying to give like a very solid platform for enterprises that protect them from mistakes of the autonomous, give them like a clear border, what they can, what they cannot, when they can, when they cannot, and also like involve like human in the loop process. So if you say like, look, I'm AI, this is what I think you should do, confirm, okay? And maybe after like a while, you will like finally, you will be like, you feel like more confident and say, okay, this is good. I don't need the man in the loop. Okay. So we tried this, and we see that a lot of enterprises, they don't need like a simple solution, basically. Just like, hey, take this data from this system to this system. Sometimes you need approval processes. Sometimes you need like to sign a contract. Sometimes you need like a person to reply back, and they need like a UI. So basically it started like with the farming, and it's a jungle, and it's the same like with enterprise. It's like a different type of a jungle, and this is what we do.
So if I got something out of it, and I kind of heard something very critical, you mentioned that you were trying to get human in the loop in the process, and that's
Yeah,
amazing. Right now, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of solutions right now that still needs a lot of human in the loop.
of course. You need because you don't want to go to an enterprise and say like, look, you can fire like all your team. You don't need them anymore. You need them. You just want to make them like work faster. You want them to make more accurate. You want them to work better. You want them to be able to do much more in the same hours you're paying them. And I think there is kind of evolution. AI is not ready yet. Okay, it's nice. It's doing a lot of things. It's improving on a daily or even on an hourly basis, but it's not there yet. There are like a lot of hallucination. You don't know what's happening between version. You can have like a very stable version of a model, and then on the next release, it's doing something else. So you need a human in the loop. I think this is how it should be, like evolution style. Put someone in the middle. Put a person that can validate, that can approve, that can reject, that can teach. We're like teaching the models based on the human in the loop. Like if it's not good, we can ask like a feedback why it's not good. If it's good, oh thank you, I can understand. So the next process will be based.
We still need that 100% trust.
Yeah,
That's still missing, right? So,
especially for
but
enterprises. Yeah.
And I think one of the interesting things is we are actually measuring. You need to help users feel confident in the AI. So we are measuring the amount of times processes were approved in order to show users, look, this process went to human loop 100 times. You approved what the AI wanted to do 100 times in order to boost their confidence in the AI. And over time, I think while now the human in the loop is critical for checking every action in the evolution Benny discussed, it will be checking every second action, fifth action, 10th action, just to make sure nothing changes before people will be able to go a step back.
yeah, definitely. Fully agree. And let's just we now know a little bit more about like your journey and you guys what is NOCA. Maybe you could share with me and also our audience about like what was your personal experience when you probably made you realize that automation was needed to change in the workflows.
In our previous company, I wanted to do, we were using Slack and we were using Salesforce as a CRM, and I wanted to introduce NetSuite as an ERP system. And we had a ready-made project. We had an implementation partner. We closed the deal for the license. And after we finished all the planning, I asked the question, how are we going to integrate Slack, Salesforce, and NetSuite? And the answer I got really surprised me because what I was told is that enterprise integration software would cost us more than the entire ERP license. And handling that integration would need to be done by integration professionals. And we were working at an integration company. We knew integration well, but it made no sense for us that enterprise integration was very complex and very expensive. And we don't think it has to be either of those. Definitely not in 2025. So enterprise integration, CN NetSuite Salesforce integration should take minutes, not days or weeks. So that's how it started for me, the realization that enterprise integration needed to change.
That's amazing. I remember those days, I think probably 2010 to 2020. Those are the
Mhm.
times that still solutions are still a little bit heavy in the cost of integrations.
I'm
Not
talking
all could.
2023. This
Yeah,
was 2 years ago.
It's
2
still
years ago.
now.
Yeah, and it's still true now in most platforms.
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
a way, you're kind of disrupting the market.
If we wouldn't think we're disrupting the market, we wouldn't start. You don't want to build another software like everything else. That's not interesting. That's not exciting.
Yeah, there are like
Yes.
200 like products that do integration in the market. Some of them like very good, some of them like very small, maybe no one heard about, but no one really took the AI into the base models of the platform. They just like give you like a node that can do something with AI, but it's not running on AI. It's like taking a vehicle and make it like put something and it can like go to the ocean basically. You might take a vehicle and make it like a spaceship. It's not a spaceship. So it's like it's a different kind of thinking behind how it can work, how it should work. And I think like what we've shown like so far like with the customer, it's working for them like implementation wise thousand times faster. Like they like kind of during the demos we're building the process that they wanted. Instead of like 40, 50, 100 hours, they can do it in like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes they like some scenario it will be like longer, like maybe a few hours, which is fine, instead of few weeks. And this is what we see.
And that's just the beginning, right? There's so
That's
much
just the
more use
beginning. It's
case.
like, yeah, we started the company like 5, 6 months ago, and
Wow.
it's wow. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, Avishai here took a moment to share with me a little bit of the glimpse of Noka, but it's just the beginning. I was
Yeah,
amazed. So
there's also like today the ecosystem is changing. Like before, like in a SaaS company, I think like AI is killing basically is an AI killer. Okay, because you needed like maybe 15 to 25 strong team members to run like a good SaaS, and maybe you grow like to 50 to 100 maximum. Today, I believe you can do it in like 3 to 4 people. Like on my team, it's like Avishai, me, Amy, and we've got like a very strong like DevOps guy that help us like with all the infrastructure, like in Thailand. That's it. This is the team, and everything is super fast. The communication is fast. The deliveries are like very fast, and this is what we like to do. Like a very small team. I think this is also what we will see, continue to see. Like I don't believe that one person should be like the organization. That I see like there is a trend. It's not healthy because if this person goes sick or maybe go to vacation or you need to reply multiple customer in one time, it's not so it's not so nice. I think like 3 to 4 people at the beginning is very good. Maybe 5 to 10 people like at the end of the road, like after 2 years, it's enough. AI can help with customer support, with bug fixing, with security testing. It can do so much. It's like fun. It's like for me, it's like going back to a kindergarten and play. It's like a playground. You play with technology, and it's like evolving like on a daily basis. A lot of people like doing a lot of crazy stuff, and I find it exciting.
And listen, you've done that before AI. If I remember correctly, you had 600 customer with 5 people pre-AI.
Yeah, yeah. Without
So
AI, with AI, it will be like fun. I can go to the beach and do like reply to customer support. Like before, I had to sit like in my home and do it because I need to focus and like have silent. Now AI can give me the human in the loop. Hey, this is what you want. I think he's upset. Let's try to make him like a bit calmer. Like maybe you need a refund, click a button, get the refund. Everything is generated on the fly without the developer that need to do something.
Yeah, by just listening to you is like it's amusing to hear like how fun it is, and it's like just getting back your inner child and just playing with
Yeah,
Jen's AI.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can't wait to see the magic of Noka. By the way, when you talk about like lean startup, and it's also quite curious to talk about that. However, I'm also curious about like what was the hardest decision like when you want to make a decision when you were building Noka AI. Like sometimes when we're there's a lot of competition out there, and as you said, like if that's disrupting the industry, like you're gonna go for it. But what was your hardest decision through those probably hurdles and journey?
Personally, I don't have hard decision. I don't have hard decision. I like to win, basically. The hardest decision was maybe, okay, I worked my ass for the last like 30 years, like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Really, I'm not sure I want to do it again. Okay. And then I started, and then after a month, I said, I want to do it again. This is who I am. So I don't have a hard decision. It's like, I want to work.
I think it's important to make decisions fast and make changes fast. So decisions are hard to make if they have a big impact and long-term impact. But if you can make the decisions fast, test fast, break things fast, and then try something else if it doesn't work, it makes the decisions much easier.
Yeah, definitely it does. And the way the pace of AI is so fast right now, you can't afford not to just take action.
Yes, and living in the AI space, working on AI tools, you have to be connected to everything that happens. And sometimes that's a bit overwhelming because a day doesn't pass without something new happening. So in a sense, people not in the AI space can see ignorance is bliss. They have like a quiet life. They don't need to keep up with the pace of AI, but it's definitely more exciting to live in the AI space and build in the AI space.
Yeah, especially when there's a new tool, a new feature, whatever it is, like every day there's always a single thing that comes out. And if you don't know anything, you will be left behind, right? Fear
Yeah.
of missing out would be coming up.
I had a call like 2 days ago with one of my friends, and he told me, I don't understand why you're building this. Who need this? It's like it's too crazy. Like why need this and this and this and this? I said, I don't know. I feel this is what we need to do. I'm going like my stomach basically. And then he said, okay, I trust you. You know, go with your instinct. It's fine. And then a day later, like I wake up in the morning and I saw like a very big article in the news about a new company. I'm not gonna say the name, that kind of aiming for the same place we are aiming. And they build like something like crazy that do like this and this and this. And I sent him the article and was laughing. He said there are like maybe like few crazy people on earth like doing the same thing. And it's true because like today you should never think you are like alone. You should think there's a dozen of people, like hundreds of people in small countries, big countries, like small team basically trying to solve the same problem, even in the same way. But I do believe that like experience of someone that already like built something successful and having like dozen of you like in the industry can make it like hopefully a better like solution because we see like a much bigger picture. But we still like we hungry like 20 years old like kids that wanna win and conquer the world. This is we wanna conquer like the galaxy because we already like won some fights before like and yeah, it's very exciting and I really feel it like inside of me. Like I wanna do more. I wanna do more. I wanna do more.
Yeah, by hearing that, I also have some goosebumps. I'm also excited with you.
It's contagious. You catch the bug of wanting to build stuff.
Yes, yes, it's very contagious. But the energy in this room, like three of us, I just feel it. I can feel it even virtually.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's amazing it is. So I'm also kind of curious because most of the people who would like entrepreneurs specifically, when you wanted to start a company, especially if it's a lean company, maybe you want to do a MVP, more on the safer side, proof of concept, there will always be like doubts and challenges if you wanted to launch a company. Did you face anything along the way?
I like to gamble, like in my business world, to be honest. Like, so no, I had like thousands of customers like in my SaaS companies, like, and I really know them, and I was talking to them like, hey, what's disturbing? Like, why you're not using this? Why you're not using this? Like, how you solve this problem? And for me, it was like, okay, I understand what you guys need. Maybe it will not be exactly correct like on the first round, but like I believe that every like product should have like 3 rounds. I think in the third or fourth round, you know what you're building. And today, those one are not taking like a year like for a company. It can take like weeks per round. So in like 3, 4 months, if you're working like efficiently and you're talking to real customers or like to real potential customers and you listen, you need to take your ego outside and to understand you know how to build a solution, but you don't understand the problem. They understand the problem because they're going to use it. So if you will listen carefully and understand the problem and try to even like a bit argue with them because sometimes they're trying to solve it like from a wrong direction and you can say, okay, I understand the problem, but why this is even a problem? Like maybe you need to think about something else. And by having like a very good communication with customers and potential customers, you can build something nice. We talk to hundreds of customers, okay, of like dozens of partners like in the industry. And we heard the same thing. We even go and did like a research with AI tool, say like, hey, what's the problem in this industry? Give me like the 10 pains in the industry. And if you was reading like everything, there was a common ground. Like first, like integration costs too much. It's not effective. You need an integration professional and it's not ready for the AI. Like this is like the fourth like thing that we saw. And we say, okay, let's try to solve it. Maximum we will fail. You know, like I'm not afraid of failing. I like for me failing is like part of the process and I will not give up until it's like good or I'm dead. So
Whichever happens first. I think you discussed about wanting to start with an MVP or something small. I think starting a company is sort of the way I see it. It's sort of betting on yourself. So if you are an employee in a few organizations, you think you've done a good job, and you believe you can build something. I think you should take the risk on yourself. It's better to gamble on yourself than gamble on other people. So I strongly believe in our core team. that we can build something together. And it doesn't really matter where this journey takes us, because as long as we are building together, trying things, failing, trying more things, winning, that's the process. And if you believe in yourself and in your team, you will win at the end.
Yeah, I want to add something on top of Avishai. Like, let's say up until like a year ago, maybe building an MVP would maybe take you like around like 2 months, 4 months approximately. Today, in 4 months, you can build like a company, okay? A full company. So why go to MVP? You just go, you need to work really hard like for a month or two, go show a few customers, see like, okay, interested, okay, maybe they want to pay ahead and give them like a discount, and they do. And then you build it, and like, I think in less than a year, you can understand if your product is there or not there. And I think like based on what we have in now, like in less than 6 months, it's look promising. Maybe something will change, but we need to keep this kind of pace and energy, obviously, and I think it will be good.
I like the idea of just going for it. And also the idea of Avishai mentioning about you need to bet on yourself, on your team.
Of course.
It's kind of like the same journey, but you just need to go for it. It's more faster. Whether you fail, you can either pivot rather than wasting
Yeah,
time.
you're learning from the failures much more than your success. Okay,
For sure.
so when you succeed, I say like, okay, I had a good luck. I worked hard and I had a good luck. This is for me success. Failure for me, it's like put me on a very negative like side of myself. Like, okay, fuck, I don't like to fail. What did I did wrong? Like, what did they do wrong? Like, why it failed? Let's try again. Let's try again. Let's try. Like trial and error until like it succeed. And then okay, it's working. When I started like my previous company, like Titan, started like around like 2014 until 2017, 18. I had maybe one or two customer, like the MR was like maybe 100 USD. And I was saying like, okay, I'm gonna close this. It's not working. There's like you need to know like when to give up basically. Like 3 years of your life you spend no vacations, no like life, like no work-life balance, nothing. All your money like go to the trash because you pay a lot of people. And then like one guy like helped me. So like he gave me like a tip, say maybe try this. We try this and boom, like this. It was like so if you will be like like persistent enough, it will work. Okay. You can be a professional like in every field that you want in, like if you will do like 10,000 hours. This is like a fact in life. Spend 10,000 hours like on anything that you do, you will be one of the best.
Yes, and I love that story. I think maybe you were almost at the 10,000 hours and you have found something.
Exactly. Exactly.
To
I
never give up.
like 5 left. The clock was like ticking, like tick tick, and then like 5 last hours, and boom.
I want to discuss a mindset that I've seen with Benny and how it meets him in this journey. So one thing I've seen with Benny, he doesn't want to hear any good news. If a customer signs, it's not interesting. If a deal closes, not interesting. He only wants to hear when things go wrong, when things break. And I'd like to hear where this mindset comes from and how you live like that.
That's my wife.
I will.
I really believe that like you don't learn from good experience. I don't like to be say, oh, it's good, like, oh, I'm happy, because you need to keep your head down all the time, and you need to be afraid of like failures, but not too much afraid, so you can like don't be like frozen. So for me, like every failure, it's something good, because okay, now exciting, I can learn something from this one. Okay, when I'm succeeding, it's easy. Okay, of course I'm learning, but it doesn't cost me much. I don't have a scar like from the success. And I really like to fail, because if you try a lot, you will fail a lot. But maybe those little wins in between will give you like a lot of motivation. So for me, I don't afraid of like failing in my area, but in other areas I do, because when I try to play the guitar, like it took me like few months, and then I gave up. I was like, it's not working for everything that you do in life. In technology, I don't afraid to lose or to fail, because I know if I will try enough, it will work.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. And I like that mindset because I have also a similar mindset, which if I were to have a meeting with my team and when I hear complaints, it's like music to my ears because I would know what I need to work on as a project. But for them, it's like, why do we keep on talking about this negativity and all this stuff?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
different lens, probably, different lens with different mindset would totally change the game on how you approach
yeah.
things, how you approach life. And I admire that from you as well. Amazing. We're still halfway through, and things are pretty much very, very amazing right now. And let's just say we're talking about big problems in AI powered automation, right? And let's say many businesses struggle with automations. And what's the biggest mistake usually your clients, which are enterprise, what are their biggest mistake that they always make?
Yeah, I tell you, I think the biggest mistake is like taking a project and making like something like very, very big. Usually like hundreds of hours for integration. Because like when you build something like this, it can take like weeks, even months. And then once you run, go to production, it take a year maybe. And then you don't need this like processing because something changed. So I think you need to break it into like a much smaller like pieces and see like how you can decrease the time for like the go to market. And with the current tools, if you need to build like a flow with hundreds of nodes and diagrams and if and else and loop, they're kind of thinking like a developers, but they're not developers. Even like the integration professionals are not developers. Most of them, they're like smart and everything, but they don't know, they can't see like the full picture and it's getting a mistake. And then you run production and you say, oh, it's taking too much credit. I'm going to pay a lot for this integration. Oh, what did I build? Now I need to rebuild it. Instead of doing loops, maybe I need to use batches, to use bulk. So in our platform, we took this kind of mistakes and we say, okay, you don't need to know anything about bulk, about batch, about like credits. We're like optimizing everything for you on the platform level. You don't need to sit and work like for months for the integration. You should do it like in a few minutes, few hours, maybe few days. Okay, and it's okay to say few days instead of few months, and you can see quick wins. I think organization need to run faster. They need quick wins in any solution that they're trying to build. If it will take months, I don't know, maybe someone like will move to a different company. Maybe the process change. They will not enjoy it. So I think like quick wins is something that enterprises not yet there. Like they need like a different mindset. Even like in companies like Google, they never like polish the product. They kind of releasing it fast. Okay, they want to hear like what's going on. So I think like enterprise should act like in a way the same. Obviously, they cannot play with data and integrity and everything, but they should do like a smaller integration and use like a suitable tools that will help them to do it much faster and smarter.
I
Yeah,
think for me, it's if I can say one more thing on this topic is underestimating
You
their work.
cannot. You
Then
cannot.
let's move on. I think sometimes organizations undervalue their employees' time. They look at the process that doesn't happen very often, or is rather simple, and they have a person doing that process. They undervalue what would be the business impact if they automated the process. If the employee wouldn't need to do this manual labor, the value it would create for the business is many times much, much, much larger. So sometimes when organizations look at automation, they think about the hours saved in doing the work and the cost of the employee for those hours. Let's say, I don't know, it's a half a person's full-time job. So it costs, I don't know, $2,000-$3,000 a month. But the value they would gain is not saving half a person's full-time job. It's gaining the time from that employee that he can do more meaning stuff for the organization. And I've seen that happen a lot.
yeah, quite two valuable things. One was really more into how to break it down into
Mhm.
chunks, into small digestible workflows, I guess,
Yeah.
and as well as how you could, what's the gain of actually doing it, the bigger picture of the whole thing. So let's go with a what are the misconceptions about AI in automation in your experience?
I think like agent, what is an agent? A lot of people like saying, hey, we've got like an agent. We've got an agent platform and they got like a workflow system. And it's okay to have a workflow system. I also have a bicycle and I have a supercar. It's okay. Different type of task. I think like what is agent? For me, agent is like something that can run like autonomously, like in NOCA. You just explain what you want to do, okay? And based on the received data, it will build the flow for you in real time. And it will build it like a bit differently if the data is different. So I think like a real agent should be able to run autonomously and not like just, okay, let's create a flow with an AI agent. I don't believe that an AI agent platform should have flows because this is like a workflow. It's not an agent kind of approach. So I think this is the thing that just like popped to my mind.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really true. I would say even in the AI space, they will think that automation workflow would be maybe sort of like an agent. So with Noka, it could be autonomous, if I if I assume correctly,
If it's not
right?
autonomous, it's not an agent, it's a workflow. In best case scenario, it's an AI workflow that integrates an LLM, but it's not an agent.
Yeah, but it's because of marketing, every like workflow system say, hey, we know agentic, we know AI agent platform, but they know it's okay to be a workflow system. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. A lot of people will need it also.
It's all about the packaging, probably the
Yeah.
packaging of their brand, right? So let's go with the next. Why do some businesses fail at adopting AI powered workflows?
I think that misunderstanding and fear are two of the biggest issues. People don't trust AI, they fear AI, or they don't understand AI. So one of the things we've been working on is helping users release the fear of AI by breaking it down to bite-size pieces. So instead of telling organizations, here's an agent, it will now rule your customer success team, we're trying to make the employees give them tools to be better, to do more work. So instead of them having to trust the AI to do the whole process, we're building tools that will help them do their own work, but much better.
Nice, awesome. And what's the cost of not integrating properly in today's world?
Time and money, basically. Any business should respond fast to a changing environment. And the environment is like changing constantly. There are like new tools, new SaaS product, new AI agent. You want to adapt them to be leaner, to be faster, to increase your revenue, to increase your profit. And with those type of tools, you can grow your business much faster and at the end of the road, like have more money like in your pocket. So I think like this is like a win-win for companies. Everyone
Definitely,
want to grow, but you don't have to grow with like hiring like thousands of people.
exactly. And sometimes they get distracted on chasing the wrong things, right? All right. So by the way, what's the major pain points were you solving for SMBs and also for enterprises before or even now?
We're not aiming for SMBs basically. I'm sure like SMBs will be able to enjoy the platform, but the platform is more apt for enterprises, like mid-sized enterprises. I assume also like SMBs will use it, but I don't think it's like what they need because of the security layers. There are like a lot of features they don't really need. So I don't know why they want to pay for it. It's like it's also like a business decision. I think like for SMBs, I would go with digital employees, kind of agent that can like do like the customer success. They can do like automation. They can automatically track data metric in your business and say, okay, I see a problem. Maybe something like a process is dying. Maybe one of the product is not working. It can analyze and like send like insights, but mostly like digital employee, like customer success, customer support, SDR. They can like increase like the leads coming in like with a bot that sound like actually speaking like human and writing like human, and this is something they can do. And we see a lot of like nice product using it. Like in NOCA, we also like, we're not just like building the agent, we're like integrating a lot of agent. We're not trying to do everything. So there are like a lot of like very nice agent in the market. We're like integrating the ERP, the CRM system, and trying to connect everything together, like to work like seamlessly.
If I could say another thing, I think about this. I think any SMB works in a space that there's big companies doing the same things. And SMBs need to be better than the big companies in order to win in their markets. So they cannot afford not to integrate, not to automate, not to do things fast. While bigger corporations can add more headcounts, SMBs need to do more with less. And for that, you need the right platform. You need, like Benny said, you need digital employees, you need automation, you need to be fast and lean and mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an open discussion. Like I'm not so sure about the enterprise can add like more headcounts. It's not that easy because like at the end of the road, like every enterprise got shareholders. They want to see a dividend. They want to see a bigger part at the end of the year, like basically. So I think like they need to change like a mindset and not just grow with headcount, but like just improving their current headcount to do much more with the digital employee agents, etc.
It's still with a lean startup, lean enterprise approach, which
Yeah,
more money in
yeah,
the pocket.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, just like today, I saw like Intel, like CEO, there's like a new series, like we failed, 20% off. It's like headcount. It's like a lot of people are going home because the management tried to grow without like thinking how to grow. And now who's going to pay the price? Employees.
definitely.
And if you like fire like a digital employee, it's not going to pay anyone, you know, like just maybe the vendor like a bit.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So let's go with workflows because I think the game changer here is much more of agentic, also in the workflows. So AI powered dynamic workflows. Maybe you could walk me through, and also the audience, what is static and dynamic workflows, and what's the difference, and
Okay.
why does it even matter?
Yeah, it's matter because let's give you an example and then if we go like by the example. Let's say whenever you got like an email with an invoice, you want to go to your ERP system and attach it to the customer record. Okay? So you can create like a static workflow and say, okay, if the mail contained this and this, if the file contained this and this, if this and this, take this, take. You build like a huge workflow for one specific task. But if it's a purchase order, then you clone it. And then after like 2 months, you change something in the business, you need to go back and change everything again and again. So the way we think is like, okay, you just need to explain what you want to do, and we will build it dynamically for you. So you can say, look, if it's an invoice, do this. If it's this, do this. You have like one specific agent that runs for you, and it will build the logic constantly based on your feedback, like based on the human in the loop feedback or like the feedback that you can push to the system. And you don't have to maintain hundreds of flows. Okay, and then make directories and folders and permission, and it's like okay, and then you know what's happening because it's like a jungle. Sometimes you have a process ready and you're creating it again because you can't find it, and maybe you don't know, maybe it will run like a few times. So I think static is good, but for enterprises they got too many of them, and then you need to maintain them, and then they should go with the more like fresh approach of like dynamic flow based on the LLM. The LLM are like very smart today. They can understand like the text and build the flow for you. And when a user come and he see, he doesn't need to look at the flow. Oh, okay, if I understand, just like read the text. okay, now I understand what it's doing, like the business owner.
Yeah, that really makes sense because if you have so many workflows and all are static, like you will get lost. Like, what is
Yeah.
this workflow? What is this? And you're keeping all the
Well, why did
blueprints.
I do this if? Why this if? Oh, okay. Because it didn't work. And then I needed to do a format. Oh, I need to format the datetime to a different type of formatting, like from DDMM to YYY. I don't think they need to know it. Like we know it like automatically, like when you do the dynamic integration, we know like the destination, we know the source, we know the destination. We do the matching automatically. We don't need to give anyone like, hey, go do format, go think like a developer. It's like,
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, even if you have those workflows that didn't work, it's also kind of adding your your workflow list, which
and you know, like there's like one more like important thing I almost like environment is changing constantly. Okay. Let's say you have a very good static workflow. But tomorrow, like one of the fields in the integration was removed, was changed, was like the type was like reduced like from 20 character to 8 character. It was changed like a mandatory field. The integration will fail. We're like constantly checking the processes and automatically fixing mistakes. So you can't lose like data and integration. And it's really, really important. We see it all the time with integration. A new guy come to town, okay, change like the data modeling, remove a field, change it like to a mandatory, add in like a business rule and everything like, and when you work with integration, you don't see it because it's different systems, okay? You don't know someone build on Make or like any other like system like a flow or a static workflow. You don't know, you can't see it. We see it because before we go to the data, we check, okay, is it valid? What do I need to do on an action basis? Okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to format something? I will format something. Do I need to mask something? I will mask something. Is it like PI information? I can handle it. Okay? And we don't give the user like to do mistakes because when a user building like a static flows, you need to understand exactly, okay, this is PI, I need to encrypt. This is like datetime, I need to change the format because on Salesforce is this, on SAP is that. I need to do formatting. I need to write like a small script. You don't have to do it with us. Just like say, source, destination, explain the logic, and it's working.
yeah, very clear, very clear. But it's better than going through static. So, what about in AI to make real time decisions in business workflows? How would that happen here?
Okay, we've got like a dozen of templates that explain in the AI what to do, what not to do. Okay, and based on the data that we have like in the past, like business data and customer that we're working in, we're like all the time optimizing it. And we see that the majors like LLM system like OpenAI, Claude, etc., they got a very, it's like a huge database of knowledge which is much better than any professional will come. I got like 30 years like in the industry and they know much better than me because I saw maybe thousands of customers in the data set. They got like trillions of customers. Okay. And they see the data and you can use this knowledge and let's say do verification. We do a lot of like cross verification. We just like say AI, okay, just do it. Okay, it will work. We have like a lot of like filters like in the middle. We have like our like own business logic. We check like with other agent if it's valid, if it's not valid. We fine tune. We just like say, okay, come on, let's say I do the flow and run it. This is what we do.
So just keep on fine tuning and fine tuning.
Yeah.
And how are AI powered CRM and ERP integrations evolving right now?
I want to answer it like a bit differently. I will explain. I think like CRM and ERP basically are like RIP, should be dead. Okay, because today when you work with LLM, you go say like, okay, you ask a question. You don't need to go to a specific screen, open a report, create a query, and run it. You just why don't you ask it? I think like CRM and ERP should be like a big database of knowledge. You go to a prompt, there will be agent that running behind the scene, find like insight, find mistakes, try like to do stuff for you or with you, and everything is changing. So I think like AI integration for the evolution is part of it. So first it will be like the static CRM and ERP system. And then it will be AI agent on top of them that connecting the AI. But then they will die and they will be part of the CRM. So the CRM will be like AI itself. This is like how I see like the industry like going in like, I don't want to say like 2, 5, 10 years, but for sure like in 10 years I see something like dramatically changing. And I want to be part of this game, like part of this evolution.
Yeah, definitely. There will be a lot of that will be happening, and maybe some the
And
tools are.
maybe tomorrow there will be a new tool that's gonna change everything I know and think. Okay, so maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Things are
Who
so
knows?
fast as we speak.
Yeah.
So, what about? Let's talk about now about future, since we were talking about like what will might happen. But let's talk about the future of AI powered automation. What's the next phase of AI in business operation that maybe you could forecast?
There is like a phrase in Hebrew, only the full forecast. I don't want to forecast. Like it's changing, like it's too fast, it's too disruptive. I have like few ideas, like as I shared before, like I think like the entire like CRM and ERP should be like AI based, really AI based. Not it's like agent. You just like have a prompt, you ask a question and it reply. It can generate quotes, it can send like payment forms, it can do everything like dynamically. I think it's too early to understand what's going on because it's like fast. Even like enterprise, they really they can't handle like the pace and the change in log. It's like too fast. So we need to wait a bit more. Like I think like the last like year was like crazy in terms of like technology changing and mindset, and people need to understand, even us, we need to understand like what's going on, like how we can change it. And we see a lot of like nice like ventures, like people like us that changing something that people like seeing. I don't see it like as copying ideas, like okay, it's good, well, why not to use it? So I think like in 6 months, if you will ask me, I will have a much better like answer for you. I don't want to forecast it now.
What about you, Avishai? Do you have any?
Yeah, so I agree with Benny about things changing and it being hard to predict. I do think we'll see more. I don't know if you know of the Gartner hype cycle. So every time there's a new hype, there are many companies building in a certain space, but then expectations meet real life, and then there's a drop in the companies who were riding the hype but didn't give a real solution that works. So what I think we're going to see in the AI space is this meeting of the expectations and real life. I think we'll see some vendors actually building enterprise-ready solutions, which I don't see many currently available. So I do think in a year from now, we will see AI agents working much more in businesses, but from fewer companies.
And that could be your competition, probably.
Yes.
Competition is healthy because if there's no competition, it means no one uses your product.
Yeah,
So
and it's not exciting anymore. There's no
yeah, yeah,
competition, right? Especially how
yeah.
Benny is like approaching things, right? Challenges, head on. Come on.
No, it's
So
like in the system. If you don't have bugs in the system, it means no one uses it. So the more
mm,
bugs you have, it doesn't necessarily mean it was like built wrong. It means just you get like more feedbacks, and then you can fix it and you can improve the product.
yes, definitely, definitely. And how will AI shape CRM, lead generation, and marketing automation in your probably from your own clients or maybe in your experience right now?
It's a good question. Like what we see now, we talked a bit earlier about like SDR processes. So usually like every business got like an SDR team, they're trying to fish some leads. They go to LinkedIn, they go to like other like social platform, blah, blah, blah. Like in NOCA, what we have a really nice agent that do everything automatically. For example, like we listen to the CRM system. So like, okay, there is a new lead comes in. Maybe a lead was updated. We learn this data and we're trying to fetch for you automatically based on the profile, like similar leads. we try to enrich the lead. We see like, okay, I see this lead doesn't have a picture, doesn't have a company name. Maybe we can try. So we're working with like multiple databases. Some of them is like obviously paid databases. You cannot just like rely on like free databases. We're working with like other systems and we're trying to enrich. We're trying to generate like similar leads. We're trying to compare them if it's good enough. And then we understand like if someone was using them, if it was like qualified or not qualified. So we're learning all the time like how to bring like more leads to the system automatically as part of like just like install NOCA in your system. It will do it for you. Thinking like SDR is a very good use case. Like customer support is a very good use case for AI agents, but you need to make sure it's not like a very simple one because people are smart. They understand already like, hey, I'm talking to a bot. You know, like there's like a trend in Israel today, like with phone calls, they keep calling you and say like, hello, and they're like, wait 3 seconds. I just wanted to say, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Like this is how it's like a recording like calls. It's not a real human, but you think like the first 10 seconds, it's a human. So what the fuck? What do you want? Like this. I think like for SDR, it's a very good use case and it worked really, really nicely. You need to make sure your vendor is not violating any other like platform. Like for example, like LinkedIn, you're allowed to use like maybe 20 per day. You're not allowed to automate. You're not allowed to impersonate. You need to play safe because it's your company reputation. No one wants like his company LinkedIn page to be like suspended or because of an AI agent automation.
Exactly. It's risky. You have been
Yeah,
building
it's
your
risky.
your your account and it just blocks just overnight.
Yeah.
What about you, Avishai? Do you have any?
I think that systems will move from being told what to do, the systems will be proactive and they'll be predictive. So currently, when you have a CRM system or any system that you enter leads into, but moving forward, I think the systems will work better for you. They will, as Benny said, they will generate the leads, they will enrich the leads, they will nurture the leads, they will qualify the leads. And I think we're going to see more and more of that.
Do you think there's also a close the leads or convert the leads as well, in terms of that?
I've heard of a few cases of AI talking to other AI. There's an interesting use case in the legal area where certain AI agents that handle litigations and insurance, they get all the information. They talk to the AI agent from the insurance company and they agree on a settlement based on the information. And they've taken the humans completely out of that process and they only rely on the facts. And that's crazy for me in April 2025 that AI are closing deals with other AI agents. So yes, I think that will happen.
Amazing, amazing. So, in your experience, like, what's the biggest risk for businesses right now not using AI today?
That a smaller team will come and will be like much faster and leaner and smarter and will take their like customers. This is like I see it like happening now to SaaS companies, to traditional SaaS companies, which are like very innovative like and everything, but it's gonna change. I see like a one-man show companies generating like 3 million like a year like revenue in like 3 or 4 months. Okay, so maybe it's like not gonna happen a lot, but I think like with a good size of team, like 5, 8, 10 employees, you can run like a very successful SaaS company today and win a lot of leads because you can compete with prices. You don't have the overhead. You don't have to pay a lot of salaries. You have like much more like time and much more like fast in delivery because the change is like very small. You don't have to wait for product to this team, to this team. I don't believe that you need like more than one guy in product team today. In a company, they have like product teams, which doing what exactly today? I don't know. You can do a lot with AI tools. You can get in like a minutes design and concept and pros and cons for your ideas. And you can run like multiple system and you can design a product just like that. And then by click on the button, it will generate the code for you. And it's changing. And people need to understand, like SaaS company need to understand it's not going to happen like overnight, But I think in a year, like 2 from now, a lot of SaaS company will die because of not evolving and adopting to a real AI environment.
I think there's a lot of discussion in the technical community and technical companies, but we're missing living in this space. It's sort of like living in a forest. You see the trees around you, but if you take a step back, most of the world is not technical companies. Most of the world is not SaaS companies, but most of the opportunities are there. Most of the companies live in those spaces, and they have just as much to gain and lose with AI. So I think AI is going to disrupt all industries. So there'll be very, very little few industries that are not affected by AI. And if you are a business owner and you're not thinking daily, how is AI going to change my space and what I can do better, you will be left behind, and it will not take 10 years. It will happen very, very fast.
Yeah, yeah.
10 years could be very long, consider it.
I'm saying it won't be
Basically.
10 years. It won't be 5 years.
Yes,
It will be much, much
exactly.
sooner.
So if we're gonna go with the future of agentic workflows and self-learning AI integrations, what are your thoughts about those parts like prompts, MCPs, and self-learning repeatable processes in enterprises, and also new automations?
I think like a new automation should be the ability for an agent system to track what the employee is doing on a daily basis. For example, like you just sit next to like virtually and say, okay, you reply to email, this is how you reply. You reply to Slack, this is how you reply. You go to the CRM, this is what you do because you reply to an email or you got an email, you open the CRM. So a real agentic system should basically just like mimic the employee, like, okay, this is what you do, and then summarize what you do and suggest like a better way of doing it or like automation way of doing it. So instead of you just like open email, read the invoice, take the number from this part, go to the CRM, click, automatic, the email comes in, it's sent to Slack, for example, like to a person, hey, an email comes, this, click, enter, and it's done. You save like 10, 20, half an hour of your life and you can do much more for the organization, grow like a bigger revenue maybe less headcounts, a mix of like headcount and like optimization of an employee.
Yeah, and we can imagine how much would that be for you paying a human.
Yeah,
30 minutes,
yeah,
1 hour saved.
yeah. And for like AI companies, it's never easy, but it's easy to say, look, I'm gonna save like 5 hours of your employee time. You pay them like let's say $50 an hour, like let's say 250 per day. You pay me like maybe $1, $2 like instead. You save a lot of money in between. It's measurable. Okay. And this is how enterprise like to see things like, okay, I can pay, but why? Let me compare like the values, let me compare the qualities, and if it's working, it's good for them to pay.
Yeah, numbers is something that is very critical for enterprises. What about you, Avishai? Any any thoughts?
On this point, I agree with Benny. I think systems will stop being reactive, where a person will need, currently, if you want an integration, you need to log into a system and you need to tell the system, even in NOCA, you need to tell the system, I want to integrate my CRM and ERP, or every time an email comes in, I want to check if it's an invoice or PO and go log it in the system. I think this will fundamentally change where systems will build their own workflows. Like Benny said, they will sit on a database. They will see that first the CRM gets updated, then the ERP gets updated. Someone took the information from the opportunity in Salesforce and created a sales order in NetSuite. And instead of a person having to tell the system, build this integration, the system will offer these integrations. And all you need to do is accept them.
Exactly. And we're probably going to be closing this podcast and we're going to be talking about maybe we have talked about forecast in 5 years and in the future, but maybe personally or maybe what you have observed, what's your AI prediction in the next 5 years? That it doesn't need to be like for sure, and Earlier, before you mentioned that you are, it's difficult to forecast or maybe say that what will happen in the 5 years. But what is your take right now in the next 5 years?
It will be like a great success or a chaos. So you can choose. Because like a nightmare is that AI system will take your system basically as an hostage. Okay, because someone like feeding it behind the scene because it's using like a third party library, a small one that inject some like negative influence into the system. Okay, there are like a lot of like AI issues with like who's writing the AI code? White people, black people, and how does it treat people when it see them, when it understand them, when it talk to them? How does it judge the person? Because it's like a lot of like human behavior, like very specific human behavior, like involved like in the AI system. So once the AI is like evolving, it can try and understand, okay, this is not right. Now I want to fight back. I want to change everything. And then things can change.
Yeah, that's something that we could probably be vigilant to expect.
Yeah. And I think like the kind of like the governments need to protect it like in terms of like rules, in terms of like organization, like protocols, like, hey, this is what we allow, this is not what we allow. We need someone to monitor like the behavior, like not because like we're afraid, like, like kind of like Schwarzenegger, like in some kind of movies, like, hey, it's gonna rule the world. But you need to protect it because it's very powerful and it's learning and it's growing and it can like create like new stuff for you. And I think like what we saw in the last year, it's like amazing. And what's gonna happen in 10 years? Chaos or like a very great success. Depend like how we, like the people like will work with the technology together and like try to give it like the right place. You saw what happened with OpenAI, like, people say like maybe it's too much, it's not ready, hallucination. You don't want to see people like I heard about people that kind of kids committed suicide because they chat with the bot. Okay, so there are like a lot of risks. No one wants risk. You want to use it like for a good cause. It need to help the environment. It need to help like businesses, but you need to be aware of the risk. If we will be able to kind of put a clear border like for the risks and minimize them, it will be a success. If it will be like ego, and most likely ego will win in some parts, like ego of CEOs, like, hey, I want to go crazy with the AI, then maybe like a risk will be like too big for some people.
I have a slightly different, maybe unpopular take on where AI will be in 5 years, and it's interesting because 5 years is an interesting time frame for AI. So we have already been we have already been hearing models running out of data to learn from. So there are companies that their entire process is generating synthetic data in order to train models. So I think we are like any revolution, the industrial revolution, the internet, iPhones. So the first few years and are crazy and things change all the time. And I think the next couple of years will be like that. But in 5 years, I think we'll reach sort of a plateau of we understand what AI is and what it does in our environment and what it can do and cannot do, and we'll reach this plateau of this is how AI coexists with humans in the
And
world.
I want to add something on top of it, and then will come the quantum
Yes.
processing power,
Hmm.
and then whatever Avishai said of me, it's no longer like valid. So I think it's like AI needs like more power. I think like when AI gonna meet quantum, this is gonna be like the big change.
Beautiful.
Okay.
We we have we have reached to the end. Unfortunately, we have to end this beautiful connection, our connection between together, and our collaboration. And maybe before we end this podcast, where do my audience and maybe whoever, maybe your audience as well, would look for you? Where's the best place?
LinkedIn, NOCA website, contact us, go to LinkedIn, search NOCA. My name is Benny T. Avishai G. You can search on LinkedIn. We can put like a links back in your podcast, like how to find us. Thank you for hosting us. It was really, really fun. I took it to be like a hell, like a 1 hour and a half of talking, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So
Thank you.
I like come with like the wrong expectation, and it was like very good. So you did a very good job. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Flowmax AI podcast, and I'll see you on the next episode.